Attention Austin guitarists, are you in need of setup or repair on your axe? Well, I have the guy for you. That's Jason Swedberg over at J. Scott Lutherie, and you can find him at J. Scott Lutherie on Facebook. Gang, I've been taking my guitars to Jason for over 20 years, and not only does he do the best job, but he has the fastest service and the best prices in town. Again, you can find him at J. Scott Lutherie on Facebook or Instagram, or at jason.swedberg@gmail.com. Whether it's electric, acoustic, or bass, Jason Swedberg is your guy. Get your guitars fixed with J. Scott Lutherie. Let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here is your host,
All right, hello, I'm Johnny. I'm your host. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys all had a good weekend, whatever it is you did this weekend. I had a good weekend. I played on Friday with Skyrocket. We did a live stream Friday night. It was good. I noticed, though, we noticed on Saturday that it was taken down from Facebook for copyright infringement, as we are a cover band. I guess people are cracking down on that kind of stuff. Facebook looks like it's going to be cracking down on that kind of stuff, so I don't know where that's going to leave this sort of live streaming thing. Now, that leads me to Saturday. Saturday, I went out with a friend of mine to see my friend Clay Parker and Jody James. She was playing with Bonnie Bishop and Harmony Kelly, the great bass player who's been on the show, at like a house concert, socially distanced, in a yard, people, hanging out, doing the thing. And I'm wondering, it was like a neighborhood show. It was in Blanco. So it wasn't in Austin. It wasn't like a publicized event, really. It was just kind of like, hey, come on out. People did. People donated. Jody and Clay came all the way from Louisiana. And I think they're doing some other shows over the next few weeks. So I'm wondering, they're cracking down on the Facebook live streams is what I was saying. And maybe shows are coming back. Austin's opening up restaurants and stuff to 75% capacity. I wonder if that's okay, if people are doing it safely, if these shows, if we can do some sort of like less attended shows. The only bummer is it's going to be a little bit of a higher ticket price to really make things work, especially with a band like Skyrocket that has so many people in it and, takes a lot to make the machine move. So anyway, those are my thoughts about what's going on with live streaming and stuff and kind of what I did over the weekend. It was really nice to get out and see some music. It was nice to be out there and watching people dig the music. And there were some people that were really just like, you could tell, it had been a long time. And the people on stage, none of them had played since March. A live show in front of people. And there was a level of joy happening on the stage that was palpable. It was beautiful. It was great to see. So I'm wondering, hopefully we're able to sort of bring this back in a way. If it turns into like sort of this DIY underground, I'm sorry for all the clubs. Maybe the clubs can do some special shows, put together some stuff that's really going to be able to work. Anyway, I'm hoping for the best is what I'm basically saying. And with live streaming kind of being infringed on, bands need to find a new way to get out there. Maybe, websites will be coming back. Maybe you film your own show and put it on your website. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you did have a good weekend. I hope you're safe. I hope you're sane. I hope you're hanging in there. Because it's crazy out there, man. RBG passed away. Things are going nuts with everything is so politicized as well. I'm seeing people going like, well, hey, I was trying to sell, this house and whatever. And then it ended with, well, at least the president will be gone. And it's like you're politicizing the fact that you're just trying to sell your house. So, like, there is that sort of thing. Look, I don't like this president guy, I don't like him. I feel like everyone else does. I think that's in my headspace. It's like, what the fuck is going on? How is this happening? How did we get here, really, is the question. But I think I am like that, like other people, but I also don't feel the need to politicize everything going on, Last night was a mellow night where people were just getting into music. They were so excited to be playing. There was no way to politicize this thing. I don't think you can politicize, the feeling you get from music. So I'm glad I do it. I really am. And I've been enjoying doing my live streams. But I am going to be very excited to get out there and play in front of people again. When I was watching them play last night, I was like, oh man, that would be a lot of fun to be doing this. Even if it is in someone's backyard, with very weird people from from a Blanco neighborhood watching. Gang, I have a great show for you guys today. Irish singer-songwriter Siobhan O'Brien is on the show today. She does not live in Austin. She lives up in Virginia, but she came down here to Austin and made a record. It's called You Can't Run Out of Love. Great record. You can find her at SiobhanO'Brien.com. But she made it here in Austin with my friends and guys that have been on the show, John Bush and Matt Hubbard from Edie Brickell and New Bohemians. Siobhan is a fantastic hang. She's a great hang. She's a great raconteur. She's a great storyteller. She has a lot to say. She's lived a very exciting life. She comes from 4 generations of musicians. She has great stories about Bono, Bob Dylan, all these kind of people. But she's a great songwriter, man. And she's a great songwriter in the tradition of what I think great Irish songwriters are all about. So we talked, I think it was actually a while back, like at least a month ago. But we had a great conversation. I want to thank my friend Jason Swedberg for hooking us up, because I guess she stays in their magic trailer, which is the one I lived in last year when my apartment was getting redone. Anyway, Siobhan and I have a really great conversation. Her record, get out there and check it out. You Can't Run Out of Love. You can find her at SiobhanO'Brien.com or find her on any of the streaming services. And without further ado, please enjoy my conversation with Siobhan O'Brien. Let's get down.
Now I am an immigrant. I left my son, my home, my life, my family, my word. Forever I will roam. The strain of uncertainty, a life of rejection, internal revolution. I choose my own trajectory. The king's fool.
Do you do a lot of home recording at home?
No, and just yesterday I was thinking, Jesus, I really need to get GarageBand or something, because I have this mental block about learning that shit. So I really need to do something, because this is getting ridiculous. I have to start to be able to do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like that you call it GarageBand.
Oh no, what's it called?
Garage. But that.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
I thought that's not the name of the thing at all, but it's just the pronunciation. No. I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the pronunciation. So you are Irish. I probably said that in the intro.
I am Irish. Yes.
How long have you been in the States?
3 years in May now, so 3 years and 3 months or whatever.
And I know you through a childhood friend of mine, Jason Swedberg.
That's
and
right.
His wife, Penny Jo Pullis.
That's right, my heroes.
How do you know them? Because you live in Virginia.
I do. I live in Virginia, and I made my record "You Can't Run Out of Love" in Austin with John Bush and Matt Hubbard, and Penny Jo is good friends with both of those. So that's how I met her. And the first time I came down after we did the record, when we were played in the Saxon, I think, was my first gig in Austin. Well, my own gig or whatever. But so Penny Jo gave us a house concert. So we had a couple of gigs the first time, and then we just became firm friends. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
So this record that just came out, you released it did you release it in February?
I released it in March.
In March.
Yeah.
After everything shut down, or?
Actually, the first single, The King's Fool, came out on January 17th, and we were kind of just waiting to see, because that got good airplay, and we were waiting to launch the second single. And when would we do the whole album? Do you know what? The whole album, I don't even know. Was it March or April at this point? So yeah, it was March, April.
So when you release a record under these conditions, after you put so much work in it, you live in Virginia, you came to Austin, you hired these guys.
Yeah.
By the way, those two guys are great, and they did such a fantastic job. When I was walking today and I was listening to the record, it dawned on me what an interesting thing rhythms can do.
Oh, wow. Yes. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Basically, like you're an Irish Americana artist. Is that right?
Yeah,
Is
kind
that
of.
fair?
Yeah.
Kind of
I mean, I
folkish?
still think it's folk rock. Yeah, I still feel like it could be that, but who knows with names and labels and genres anymore. But I mean, Americana to me is, I know it's roots based, but I feel it's more country based, and I'm kind of not country based. So, like the country music I like is the John Prines and the Townes Van Zants and that, Steve Earle. But yeah, I just never really got into that deep country stuff. I mean, there's some great stuff there that I love, but I don't think my stuff is steeped in that, So yeah, I don't know. That has been a problem a lot through my career of trying to, pigeonhole or label or put me into and if I was blues or something straight up, I probably would have an easier time, but it's just harder when they can't put you into a genre as such, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, the record's fantastic.
Well, thank you so much, Johnny.
Who else?
I'm very, very proud of it.
It was you, John, and Matt. John Bush and Matt Hubbard produced the record, and they played on it.
Yes, they did. Yeah. I'm so glad you brought up about that rhythm, because the third song, "Love Is the Holy Grail," I just thought it was a simple little folk song, and when John
that was the
came
first
up with
one that hit me as like a whoa. Yeah.
Well, when John came up with that rhythm with the toms, I just was going, whoa, thank you so much. I made the right decision here. It absolutely dictated the way the song went. And that's what a producer should do. And it was just so amazing.
Yeah, he's a
great. There was some pivotal moments in the recording where I went, Jesus, this is really this little decision that was just made right now is huge. It's massive. It's really huge. That one in particular with John and the rhythm for "Love Is the Holy Grail," and another one that Matt suggested bringing down the key for "Hold Me in Your Arms," and I had already half thought about it in the back of my head, going, "There's something up here. I don't think this is right." I mean, simple things like that, changing a key, changing a rhythm, it made the whole thing. It just makes the whole thing. It's just, it's fabulous. And I love them for that.
How did you come across those two ragamuffins?
I met Matt the Ragamuffin on a cruise ship in Alaska. I had been waiting for my artist visa to come through to live here, and while I was waiting, I had given up my job as a special needs assistant in a primary school in Ireland. And we can take up to 5 years for a career break. And
what do you mean a career break?
Yes, this is very alien concept to Americans. I could leave my job for up to 5 years and come back to the same job after 5 years.
Yeah, that's very alien to Americans.
Yes, because that just is not done here as far as I know. So
especially in music, man, you don't even want to get a sub for a gig so you can go to your sister's wedding or something.
Yeah. So I was able to take up to 5 years. So I had a whole year taken off at this point because my lawyer at the time had told me, it'll only take 6 months. And sure, it took nearly 2 years. So I couldn't get a job in anything else. And I just had to work. So I got a 6-month contract on Princess Cruises, just gigging on a cruise ship for 6 months. And we were in Alaska, and I think when I started in the April, and then by the July, they had this new program on the ship for the kids coming on with their families. It was called Rock School at Sea. So me and some of the musicians on board were the mentors for these kids. And so one of the kids was Matt's son. On a cruise ship, I know. Yeah. And so we kind of mentored them. Whoever, we just work with what we had, for the week. And so sometimes we might have no singers, sometimes we might have no drummers or whatever, And so one of those weeks, Matt's son, Dean, was our guitar player. And he was so great. And then, so that's how I met them. And Matt had seen me singing around the ship, I suppose. And then when he was leaving, he gave me his card. And I had played South by Southwest in 99.
Matt has a card?
Matt, look at he probably doesn't need a card. He's just
That's what I'm saying. That's so great. I love
know,
that he
it's
has a card. I
funny.
love that dude
Well,
so
thank
much,
God he did
man.
have a card because
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
Siobhan,
I
really-
barely spoke to him. You know,
Really quickly, I have to say this is by far the first time in 900 and however many episodes I've done where the person meets their producer by teaching their kid rock school at sea on a cruise ship in Alaska.
no, I know. I mean, it's so on rock and roll, really. But
No, it's so weird. It's rock and roll. You know.
well, that's true. Yeah. I you know, and I used to be on that ship like gigging every day for 3 hours,
Yeah.
and my hands
Can-
killing me, and I'm going, I hate this. I don't want to do this. But I have to do it because I have to get to America and I have to do this. Blah.
Can I-
really,
Sorry,
out of
go
all
ahead.
the 6 months, I'm sorry, just to finish this, the whole 6 months, I mean, that alone, just meeting Matt Hubbard, I mean, seriously, that was my whole purpose for the 6 months, was to meet him so that then I had this record, you know.
I got that. It's just that is like serendipity.
I know. You couldn't
on like
plan
speed.
that. You just couldn't
on
plan
Adderall.
it.
Yeah.
No, you couldn't plan it. No, you couldn't.
Dude, so explain to me. This is what I'm fascinated with. So you wanted to play on a cruise line? You wanted to?
I didn't want to, but I just had to get.
But how did you-
I had to get.
How did you do it? Like, do you call the cruise line people and send them your
what
tape
happened was
or CD?
I knew that there was a girl I knew from home, Lou McMahon, and she had just started the previous year. And I had contacted her and said, look, you know, what's the possibilities of doing this? She goes, oh, yeah, just get on to this girl, God, what's she called, down in Cork, PEI Entertainment. And they did all the brokering for, you know, for artists to get the gig. And so, yeah, I had to get onto her, and then I had to send auditions. I was like, seriously? I mean, really? Like, why can't my YouTube just do
video
you? Like,
auditions and shit?
oh, yeah. I mean, ridiculous. But anyway, so eventually, yes, they said yes. And thank God, because I just, for some reason, I could not get any kind of a job just to sustain me until I left. But it worked out just so perfectly. So,
and it was a 6-month contract?
It was a 4.5 month contract, but I extended it because I still didn't have the visa, and I might as well just be working. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I did the 6 months, and then came home, and then came back here just on the holiday visa, and then I got a Caribbean cruise for 3 months. And the day I was leaving Fort Lauderdale to go to the Caribbean, I got the email. I swear to God, I was literally, the ship was pulling out of the harbour, and I went, oh yeah, on the deck looking at my emails going, holy, oh my God, I just got my flipping visa. And here I am going out to sea for 3 months. I was like, what? No, this is wrong. But look, I just did the 3 months and it was fine. And I came home and got to see the family and started my life over here.
Well, okay, so I'm stuck on this cruise thing because it's so odd, because there's been a part of me, I'm in this cover band called Skyrocket, and there have been times when, we'll be somewhere late at night at a bar and like, man, wouldn't it be cool if we got on a cruise ship? And then I've talked to a couple comedian bros of mine that have gone on cruise ships, and they're like, dude, it fucking sucks.
It sucks.
Like,
sucks.
yeah,
Absolutely sucks.
The life sucks. You're
It's
under
terrible.
a thing all the time.
Yeah,
you can't be living the dream.
No, and it really is a means to an end. I mean, you have to look at it for a means to an end, because it can kind of creep in. If you allow the fear to creep in, it can just become your life. And people get married and they have kids at home and a spouse at home, and they continue this 9 months at sea a year and not be with their families. I just don't get it. You know, I mean, it's tough. It's very, very tough. And it's even tougher for the server people and the hotel staff on board. And
now you realize, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of inequalities, and it's run like a military thing, and there's no room for error or anything. And that really was stifling, at times, but I just rolled with it and just said, look, it's not going to last forever. I need to do this because I have to work until I get my visa, and I had to do it. So I did it.
Was there romance? Did you have any sort of like?
Oh, well, we wouldn't call
like-
it romance, but I mean,
You have like a little
you
cruise
pass
ship
the
affair?
time all right. Yeah,
yeah.
There's a lot of that going on. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Love Boat wasn't lying to me. You know that show, The Love Boat?
There's a line for your next song. The Love Boat wasn't lying to me.
No, listen. I spoke to my friend Siobhan. She told me the truth.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
And so then when you got back from that 3 months, you were cool to stay.
I went home for a month because I hadn't seen the family in about a year properly, you know. So, I moved in the middle of May 2017. So, 3 years.
And why Alexandria, Virginia?
Well, that kind of all happened just because I had a friend here and I could stay with her. And also there's a woman called Patty Simonson, and she did a lot of kind of Irish, she'd host gigs and stuff and knew everyone around the place. And I met her before I got here, and she just literally block booked a whole load of gigs for the July and August, the June and July before I got here in the May. And so when I came here, I had instant work. I mean, it was Irish bars and it was different bars and stuff, but it was just that I could actually start straight away. You know, it was really amazing because if I had to go and get all the gigs myself from a new person being on the scene and, you know, annoying all the other resident musicians going, who's this new one coming in now? And she's going to take all our gigs. Right. You know, it was part of just what I had to do, you know, to make a living, to be able to be here.
What is it like playing those Irish bars? Like their pubs? Are there Irish people there, like asking you for traditional stuff?
Yes.
Luckily, you know that stuff, right?
I know some, and there's some that I like and some that I don't like. You know, it's unbelievable how the stereotype is so strong. And I used to get, but I'm a singer-songwriter and I want to do my thing and nobody's listening to me and poor me, you know. And sometimes I could just roll with it and it depended on the mood.
Right.
But,
well,
you know,
sure it was
it's
like
not
that.
a club. There's not people listening. They're all there after their work and they just want to have fun, and that's fine.
The gig is different though, because what you
Absolutely.
like, those people are going there for a drink after work, and you happen to be over there singing songs, as opposed to they bought tickets to the Siobhan O'Brien
exactly.
concert.
That's the huge. That's the difference. Yeah, that's the huge difference.
And it's hard. Those gigs do a lot for you. Usually they're long, so they make you good.
Well, you hit on just what I was going to say about the cruising thing. You know, I mean, I've gigged for 20 years at home and everything, but that amount of gigging, playing, it just knocks all the silly corners off you know. And I really felt that the ship was kind of like my Germany to the Beatles, you know, that kind of way. Like,
right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, big time. And my hand was killing me. It's still not right from that amount of playing because I'm not a lead guitar player. If I was lead, I'd be moving it at least, but it feels like it's just stuck in the same kind of position most of the time. But anyway, I really, really think that honed a lot of your craft of just performing, you know, and people were very gracious. Everyone loved the voice. And, you know, I mean, you know, they're just people at the end of the day.
Did they request stuff? And it was just like all over the place? Oh,
Danny Boy, all the time. Yeah.
Even on the cruise ships?
Oh, God, yeah.
That's the only song American people know that's Irish.
Kind of, yeah. And then a lot of them asked for the Black Velvet Band. And I was like, oh, God. I mean... Her eyes, they shone. You see, and all I can think of is the the way I learned it as a kid from somebody, and I don't know why I still don't. He goes, her eyes, they shone like black puddings. You'd think she was queen of the land, with her hair strung over her shoulder and half a pig's arse in her hand, or something like that. And I was just like, what? I can't sing this song because I'm going to sing the wrong thing coming out.
That's great.
Oh, gee, because, I don't know where I heard that. Someplace in school, I suppose. It was just back at the back of my head the whole time. It was like, I'll just laugh out loud over the mic, you know. Anyway.
So
Amazing the songs they'd come up with. Yeah, and I go, what? I never heard of that song. And then I go, no, that's not an Irish song. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. No, I don't think it is.
when you got after you got Matt's number, how long was it before you called him?
Oh my God, it was probably, let me think now. So that was 16. That was 2016. So I came here in 17. I contacted him in around the September of 18, I think. So nearly 2 years later or whatever, around that, I think. That's about right, I think, yeah. But I kept saying, don't lose that card, keep that card. Because I knew a few people in Nashville, and I was thinking, okay, where am I going to go to do this record? And I'd gone to Nashville, and mostly they said, your songs are only good, they're not great. So, no, not really. And so then I thought, okay, I will be crushed. But of course I was crushed. And I just kept thinking that there was something in Austin for me, and all I had was Matt Hubbard's card. So I had met my current manager, Steve Garvin, at NERFA, the Folk Alliance thing, and he had given me a couple of names of different producers in Austin. So I set up all these meetings and met about 4 or 5 of them, and then set up Matt as well. And then he had said, look, I want to bring John in because we work together and he's a great engineer. And I was like, okay, perfect. And I had met everybody, and then I went to meet John and Matt, and I swear it was just instant karma. It was easy. Everything was like, they were so interested straight away and really eager and loved the songs, and that was just huge for me, you know.
Yeah. Well, you guys did a great job. Who played like electric guitar and stuff on it?
Oh, that was Wayne Sutton.
Oh, I love Wayne.
And Landis Armstrong, too.
Oh, God, I love Landis.
I know. I just saw him doing his Stone Wheels.
Yeah, Stone Wheels,
with
baby.
the Andrew guy the other day. Oh, my God, it was so lovely.
Gerf.
I actually went to sleep with it on. It was fabulous. It was really, really lovely, yeah.
Yeah, I love...
Beautiful tone on his guitar, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And who played bass? Hauser?
No, it was Naj Conklin.
I don't know that person.
Do you know Naj? Yeah, Naj is great. Oh my God, he did some. You know, there's things I pick out on the record, and his bass playing on "Love Is the Holy Grail" and "Give Me Back the Love." You know, he followed me. He just was so on. He was, and even when we're playing live, I got a video of us doing the first gig we did in the Saxon, and I hated it at the start because I thought I'm a woman. I was like, I look terrible. I look old. And yeah. So I couldn't look at it for ages. And who did our sound that night was Richard Von A. You know,
yeah,
Richard.
baby.
Yeah.
Of course.
And, you know, that was a kind of a profound experience because it was my first time playing with the band in Austin at the prestigious Saxon. And I was getting it videoed to kind of, you know, mark the occasion. And Richard was just amazing, and he ended up being really emotional later on and like cried to me. And I shouldn't be maybe saying this out loud, but it was just, for me, it
To a
was
guy
just,
that's played to that dude for like 30 years, I can't, like, he's never cried to me.
well, you know, and because
He's yelled at me
that's
a
why I'm
couple
saying it,
times.
because Naj was like looking at him like he just was going, what is going on here? And you know, it was a kind of a special moment between all of us. It was our first time playing together, and you know, and I have that now on video. And now I look at it, and I look at "Love Is the Holy Grail" that we did on that night, and go, "Holy moly, this was insane!" It just was so good. It was so good, and but yeah, no, I can't thank John and Matt enough for getting these guys together, and the right guys, you know. And we didn't even know each other, and we all gelled perfectly. You know, it just was. I mean, that whole thing about trust, when you don't know somebody, and just knowing on a supernatural level that this is right, was just, to me, was so huge for me. You know. Yeah.
So, dude, you're like a fourth generation musician in your family. Let's go back there. How far does that go? Oh, wait, real quick before that, I saw you have an uncle that recently passed away. I'm sorry about that, but he was a Vegas guy.
He was.
So you posted this badass picture of him at like the Stardust, where I was like,
Yes.
oh my
Yeah.
God. If that was my uncle, I would have never even gotten into music. I'd be like, shit, man, that guy's the guy.
He
Just
was
from
the
that
guy.
picture.
He really was the guy, and he got famous in Ireland. Like the show band scene was a big scene in Ireland in the 60s, the late 50s, early 60s. And he just obviously loved music and loved rock and roll. And like, I mean, his father, my grandfather, was a music conductor, composer, operatic, you know. I mean, their whole background was classical, because his parents, my great grandparents, had this traveling opera company, the Boyer Westwood Opera Company. And you know, it blows my mind that my great grandmother kind of started a traveling opera company, a woman, back in the early 1900s. You know, I mean, it's the early 20th century.
A traveling opera company.
Company, yes. And
Wow.
they traveled, my aunt tells me, to the English speaking parts of the world, which she said was like South Africa and Australia as well. And it just is like, what? How did they even do
That
that?
is really far.
Oh, it's really out there. And, you know, I mean, the courage of that just inspires me so much. And I feel like she's actually one of my spirit guides. I really do. And she comes through a lot to me in things I'm doing. And I do remember her. She died at 96 and she was blind by the time she died. And Mom said she used to do yoga up till she was like nearly 70. And I was like, who is this woman? You know? And so they anyway had my grandfather, and he was an only child, and he played violin in their little orchestra pit while they were traveling too. And I think he grew up with his grandmother while they were out doing the opera stuff or whatever. So anyway, my mother and her brother, and they've two sisters. So he became very famous in Ireland as the kind of Elvis of Ireland. And that was badass, because they were going into the terrible, evil rock and roll, you know, and he paved the way for a lot of people. And he then moved to Las Vegas in the 70s, and they had residencies in the Stardust and in the Golden Nugget, I think, some other place, I don't know, whatever other big name there. But yeah, so Elvis used to come and see him. After his own shows, he'd come in at the end of the night, and he loved listening to him, and he loved his talent. And he got, my uncle used to sing a Marty Robbins song called "This Time, Lord, You Gave Me a Mountain." And Elvis heard him do that and asked him, where did he get the song and all this? And then Elvis recorded it.
That's awesome.
It's really astounding, actually. And there's a famous photo of him and Elvis, and it's so beautiful. It's just a black and white, and it's so classic. It's just fabulous. And the other thing was too, when they were big in Ireland, the Royal Show Band was the name of his band, and they used to tour in England, and they played at the Cavern in Liverpool, and the Beatles opened for him.
Jesus.
I know. And there's this, I actually met him in February because my parents came over from Ireland. And so I said, look, Mom, you have to go and see your brother if you're going to be here. So we went, and I asked him, I said, look, what is the story, the real story of this whole thing about the Beatles and them opening for you? And what did you say to them and all this? So there was this story going around that John asked my uncle, or John said to Paul in front of my uncle. See, my uncle's band had this big Mercedes van that they were driving around England in. And Paul, I have to get this right now, because John said to Paul, looking at the van, hey, Paul, one day we'll have a van like that. You know, and it just was like, holy moly, you know, it's that belief that he always had. We're going to do this. We're just going to do it. And that's it. It was just, it was really cool. Very, very cool. And I think Paul asked my uncle, so what did you think? You know, do you think we can? He goes, oh, you have a great future ahead of you. I mean, he says that as if he kind of didn't really mean that at the time, but he wanted to be supportive.
Yeah.
But look, I mean,
Yeah.
it's the Beatles, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, was like music a big part of your household? Like, do you have brothers and sisters and stuff?
I do, yeah. I'm the eldest of 6, so there was me and then 4 brothers, and then I have a sister. And we all can sing. And I've one brother, Ronan, that used to kind of do musical theatre and stuff like that. And he used to write some songs too. We joke about them. Lighthouse Lady, one of these songs he wrote, and we joke about it, that, you know, it was kind of a silly little love song. But yeah, my dad adores music. And so the love of that, of music, was always in the house. He was always playing records. He had a massive record collection. I used to just put on anything that was there. I'd constantly be listening to records. And being the eldest of 6, I had a lot of housework to do. So my mother had a sit-down ironing board, and I've never seen one since. It was like a fold-up thing, and there was a seat there. So there was so many shirts between school and everything else that so I had loads of ironing, and I didn't mind it because you could sit down, do it, and the record player was right behind me, and I just put on records all day long, or for hours or whatever, you know. I mean, I discovered Joni Mitchell by my mother saying to my father, take one of the kids with you when you're going off to work, you know. And my father worked for Lombard and Ulster, a banking institute, and he was like on the road. And so I was with him this particular day, and he called into some house, and my father's notorious for calling in for a cup of tea and staying for 3 hours talking and doing business at the same time. So I was left out in the car, and I was like, okay.
Me too. I got a lot of that from my dad. Yes.
Isn't
I was
that
left
funny?
in the car for fucking hours.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
That is funny. I've never heard anybody else that said that to me, actually. And so I discovered Joni Mitchell in his car, and it was this cassette, and it was it was so, I suppose it was the late 70s, early 80s, maybe. And I think I was like 13 or 12 even, maybe, I don't know. And it was the cassette with the paper. Remember the paper that used to be on there, and you could like get peeled off, so you didn't know who was on the cassette. So I listened to the cassette, flipped it over, listened to the whole record 3 times. That's how long he was in the house.
Yeah. And
I still didn't know who I was listening to. And it was Joni Mitchell's Clouds with Both Sides Now on it, and Tin Angel, and all these amazing, just her, my God, when I heard her voice, I was just, oh my God, what is this, you know? And it actually, I don't know when I realized that was Joni Mitchell. It was months or even years later. I don't even know, because I was so young. I didn't have any tools to figure it out, find out. Because I think Dad, I think that's Joan Baez. I was like, I don't think it is, you know. But so I mean, I really was surrounded by music, and my mother's side was the classical operatic side, and I think she would have preferred me to go into that, but I just was hooked on the songwriters early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you start like playing and writing your own songs? When did you get a guitar? I
got a guitar when I was 16. So that was kind of late, I suppose. I had been playing a bit of piano, and I think I did violin for a while, but it just, nothing was sitting. And of course, the teachers back then were awful. I mean, you just never learned anything nice that you wanted to go home and actually learn, you know. Yeah. But anyway, but I think it was a great grounding to have the piano, just because it has that whole musical, the rudimentary, you know, the rudiments of it. But 16. And I remember thinking, oh my God, those people that write songs, that's so amazing. I'll never do that, you know, and kind of looked at it as a kind of a divinity nearly, you know. And about 4 months from playing guitar, which I just absolutely, it was coming home, you know. It was just, this was my extra limb that I was missing all the time. Yeah. And this was my way out of everything and my way into everything. And it was it. That was it. And yeah, after 4 months, I wrote my first song without even realizing. And that was it. I was just like, wow, I'm actually able to do this. I can get better at this. I can do this, Um, and that was huge. It was so huge, for my confidence and being a 16-year-old. And, before that I was like sporty and I was a swimming champion. And so I was always with the lads and, been a tomboy. And, but yeah, no, this was, and then, I started gigging when I was 18, 2 years later. My first like boyfriend was already gigging and I gigged with him. I don't know how long it would have taken me actually to gig, on my own, that because that whole first time, I mean, you probably know yourself, that first time of gigging in front of people, it is terrifying.
Yeah.
It's so terrifying.
Well,
And it was just easier with somebody else there.
yeah, mine was a little different.
Oh, what was it?
Whatever the best thing that ever happened to you, where also I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely like, I was one of those people that would like watch television and be like, I should be in that. Like I should be in there somewhere with these guys.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
I don't feel like
you don't
I'm
even
out
know
here.
what it is. You don't
Yeah.
know how to articulate that then,
Yeah, going to concerts the same way, even like, when I was a little kid, they would go see music and my mom wouldn't be able to find me and I'd just be hanging out with like the drummer of the band, asking him questions like as a 4-year-old or 5-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Like, I'm one of you guys now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And kind of intuitively just knowing that without
this is
ever
my crowd.
actually consciously thinking about it,
Yeah, I never like thought bankers were super cool when I was a kid. It was always like people that did some kind of show business thing. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm.
You can, but you can see the talent coming through easier. I think with that too. I don't know whether maybe we're honed into that because it's artistic. I don't know, but I mean, I don't look at a banker and go, wow, he's very artistic.
Yeah.
Maybe he's corrupt, but sorry. Okay, we won't go there.
Okay, so what kind of music was your boyfriend playing? Like what?
Oh, he was a big Dylan fan, and he thought he was Dylan. He thought I was Joan Baez.
So you guys were doing like acoustic stuff at a pub?
Yeah. And it was just so exciting. Oh my God, it was so amazing to be. And it was.
Sorry, when was that?
That was 1988, and
dude, that's not what was happening in any way.
I don't know what it was. I'm telling you, Limerick, where I came from, and I've said this so many times, there was so much talent. There is so much talent there. And, we were spoiled. We had great, like I got introduced to like the country music that I was talking about by a guy called Joe Brown. And he had this phenomenal band that was a band called Tuesday Blue. Actually, there's an Austin connection here. That's funny. There's a band called Tuesday Blue, and they were signed by, I think, Universal, and they were about to be big kind of a thing. And Shaboomy was the name of their album. And it just, the second album thing, it didn't work in the whole lot. But anyway, they were amazing musicians and they had their own original stuff. But then, so the guitar player in that, actually, so Tuesday Blue, the Limerick band, got Freedom of the City in Austin.
What do you mean?
They got some kind of like, not Medal of Freedom, but just some kind of
like a day
acknowledgement, a day or something, like Tuesday Blue Day or something like that. Yeah, I think it's in May. Ralph told me, the bass player. They did an American tour. Like, I mean, and I don't understand. I don't know how that happened or whatever. But anyway, Tuesday Blue started playing with Joe Brown, and they called themselves Tuesday Brown. But they were doing like, Johnny Paycheck, Steve Earle, Townes Van Zandt, Guy Clark, but killer rock versions of songs, and just amazing. And but the guitar player, Dave Keary, he's now Van Morrison's player, our guitar player. And I met him when he was playing with Van in Nashville a couple of years ago. And then he introduced me to Jude Johnstone, who's an amazing songwriter. And she co-wrote the title track on this record with me.
Oh, yeah?
So, those things come full circle. It's great.
Do you like co-writing? Do you do a lot of co-writing?
I don't. I like to co-write when I feel like I'm stuck and I can't go further, and I know I need somebody else then to do that. But I'm not prolific, and I don't know whether it's still just laziness or, I mean, I'm constantly putting like ideas there and they're there, and I need to go back to the phone and see how many songs are actually there. But I don't know. It could be a laziness and it could be a confidence thing. I don't know. But I need to probably just get better. Don't we all the time? I mean, we're always constantly trying to further and, expand.
Lift the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raise the bar. Yeah.
Raise the bar. Yeah. That's what I'm
raise the
bar. So after the boyfriend duo that broke up and
I was shipped off to France. My father shipped me off to France because he was a bad influence.
What were you guys doing that was bad?
He just, look, I called it off and he wasn't happy about that, and just some drama. But anyway.
Oh, he was like a weird stalkery guy? I mean, I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but this is the juicy stuff.
I don't like to be saying. He tried to kill himself.
Oh, my God. Okay, sorry.
I know.
But he didn't, right?
But he didn't,
okay,
no.
Good,
and,
good.
Yeah. And he's still alive as far as I know, somewhere.
So you got shipped off to France for what? To do, like...
I was doing au pair, and I wrote a whole ton of songs over there too, and speaking French for 6 months.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's funny how I hear French on whatever, and I go, it comes back to you, and then when I'm trying to speak in Irish, the French starts coming in. It's by trying to speak in French, the Irish starts coming in.
Yeah,
there's like stuck and blank then. But yeah.
So. Were you playing and like you after the au pair ship, you went back home?
Yes.
And
yeah.
What did you do with your life?
Then went back home then, and then I had my son when I was 21.
Oh wow.
So he's 29.
Wow, man. So is he a music guy?
You know what? He is. But God, talk about coming to it late. I don't know. He was a rugby player and he played with the Irish schools, and my dad was a rugby player and he played with Ireland, and so there was a lot of sport in the family, and Aaron kind of got into that at school, and he did do like acting classes and stuff when he was younger, and he always wanted to be a movie director, and he was obsessed with movies, and he just... I don't know, confidence or whatever it was. But anyway, so since I've been living over here now, he sent me him doing with a backing track or something to My Way. Because he was saying to me, I think I've only got a low voice and I don't really have a range. And I was like, you know what, Aaron, I'm learning. Don't limit yourself. Just see what you can do. Just flip and go for it. Just see what happens.
Yeah.
Don't limit yourself. And next thing for Valentine's Day, he sends me him doing My Way, and I was stunned. I really was stunned. And I was like, how? Because I knew he was into Sinatra and Dean Martin, and I'd say to my mother's pretty critical now when it comes to music, and I said to her, oh my God, he kind of sounds a bit like Dean Martin, doesn't he? And she says, well, and I thought, oh my God, are you really going to just not? You're not going to give him any? And she says, well, I think his tone is better. I just was like,
nice.
What?
Wow.
But yeah, no, he definitely has something, and he just started playing guitar. So who knows? We'll see. But the thing for me was that he said, I just feel so happy when I sing, and that was just, wow.
Yeah.
It was really wow. So, yeah.
So did having a child take you out of the game? Like you had to make a living more than play shows and pursue a career in music and stuff?
I lived at home with my parents, and they were the babysitters, and I had my brothers and sisters, so I was never short of babysitters. And I only gigged then.
Okay.
So I had him all day long. I was able to be there for him all day, and I just would gig at nighttime. So that I was extremely lucky. And so I just did that for years, and then I had been bringing out little cassettes. I went by the name Lily Tumbleweed when I was like 18, trying to change my name. And we had a band called Lily Tumbleweed and the Hubcaps. Excuse me. Sorry, hold on a second. I'm back.
All right.
And I was just always dabbling with bands and recording. And I one Lily Tumbleweed cassette with 8 original songs. And then I went back to my own name, and that was called What's It All About? And that had 4 songs. I gave that tape to Bob Dylan, actually. And
Like the Bob Dylan.
like, yes, that same
You just
guy.
gave it to him.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a tape, a cassette.
Yeah. And
Hope you can
then
get into it.
we can get back to that. But then my first EP as a CD was Mumbo Jumbo Blah Blah Blah, which I'm actually going to re-record hopefully next week or the week after, because it's kind of like my anti-establishment song, and it was never given the treatment that I felt it deserved. So I'm going to go back into the studio hopefully next week. Yeah. And release it as a single, anyway. But so so then there was, and that got great national airplay in Ireland. And then I had another one called Like a Habit that did okay, not as good. And then a big gap, because it cost money and I was paying back and all the rest of it. So I started up my own record company, Little Red Hen Music. And I've released everything on that, financed everything myself ever, always, for my whole life.
Is that something you're proud of, or something you wish would
Yeah,
have been
no,
different?
I am proud of it. It's just, it's very hard for an independent musician. We all know that. And the money is just a big part of it. And so I've been really lucky since I got here to have people around me that are very supportive. And, I don't pay rent. And that's how I was able to just keep saving and putting it all back into the music. And that's kind of where I am like now. And it just was something I could never get away. I had to just keep doing it. It was a burning desire. And I'm sure we all can identify with that,
Yeah. What was political about that song you were talking? What was that song called?
Oh, it's called Mumbo Jumbo Blah Blah Blah. So it goes, I'll do a Patti Smith version of it. They're killing our future and it isn't even here. Create me, I said, don't break me. Teach me, don't corrupt me, just teach me. Infiltrate their minds, catch them when they're young. Control them, you've taken us off the land. But it's all right, because we'll get jobs in packaging. Mumbo jumbo, blah, blah, blah. You think that we think that means something. You're all the same to us, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
So, and it's like, leaders use your power, you're tangled in a web of, I want to change the lyrics here to kind of deception and deceit, and then far from honesty are you. And then there's where the great people who didn't put their names to anything, all the anons. You stole my tune, but the thoughts are still in my head. So that's kind of my little anti-establishment song, as I call it.
How are you dealing with the current situation?
Oh, the word for today and yesterday was absolutely bored. So bored right now. And, I've tried to stay, like, a sense of purpose is just so meaningful right now because, it's very, very, I've noticed that if I don't have a plan to go towards it, the imploding starts, and,
it's the thing with creatives that there's this inherent energy within us.
There is.
And then if it's not going out, it turns in.
God, that's so
that
great to hear it like that.
That is not cool.
It's not.
That's not
cool.
a good scene.
Not because it all goes into your feckin' head. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And that and I already overanalyze, and and it's just not good. So yeah, it's been tough. It's been up and down, and I just need it to be over, But I mean, look, that's what it is right now, and sometimes I feel like it's nearly an experiment in seeing how obedient we are, kind of, and then I'm going, okay, well, we just have to
like in a
do it.
conspiratorial fashion, like this is something that someone's trying to see. if we'll do it.
Kind of, yeah. I mean,
I know
I'm
a guy.
very.
I know a guy like that. That thinks like
We
that.
all do.
Yeah. My friend Jason.
Yeah, no.
Not
really?
Swedberg. Not Swedberg.
Oh, okay.
No. Another Jason.
Yeah. I just really struggle with the narrative of what they're telling us. So
About what? The virus?
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not real. I'm just saying that there's something else going on. I just don't know what is going on. You know what I mean?
Well,
and I don't feel we're being told the truth.
I think shit's all fucked up.
It's very fucked up.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
And there's no way to sort of like act like it's not. Like, that's what's so weird about it. Like, hey, man, stop coming on TV and being like, hey, everything's cool, man. Check this out. Things are going great. It's like, things are not going great, bro.
I'll tell you something. If people don't grow through this, there's no hope for them, because we're on our own. We've got to get our heads together and evolve, you know?
On a lot of levels, yeah.
Mentally, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On a lot of levels, yeah. Yeah, and I'm spiritual, you know, and I like to find meaning in everything, you know, I do.
It's hard to find meaning in this.
It's very hard right now to find meaning. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I feel for other people, whereas I feel like I'm not, you know, in a really depressive state. And I you know, if I feel for people who struggle with that, you know, mental issues and health. And I feel I can cope to a point, you know, but I mean, I feel so bad for people who can't. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just, it's a bad state of affairs.
Do you find it hard to be creative and write during this time? I did for the first couple of months. I had a real, like, I was like this, I mean, you know, because part of you's, I mean, and also like your friends even that aren't musicians, or your super industrious musician friends that you want to slap sometimes, that are like, oh my God, this is the time when I'm going to do the greatest album. Or, you should be writing your greatest album ever right now.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that, I resent that so much.
Yeah, man. I'm like, every
Because
time I play a chord, I'm like, oh, I did that.
I'm useless. I'm useless.
yeah.
I'm useless. I'm so useless. Oh my God, I'm so useless. Why haven't I written 5 albums in 4 months when I had nothing to do?
Right.
It's just defeats the fucking purpose. It's so annoying. It's like, why can't I write? Why can't there? It's just messing with my head so much that I'm not even, you know, you're right. And those people are right. That's why we're so annoyed, because yes, we should be way more creative right now.
Yeah.
But you know what? Sorry. I mean, I wrote a few songs, but like nothing like what I probably should be doing. I mean, I you know what? It's the discipline of just going to my notes now and seeing what's there and putting something together. And then that just discipline of sitting down and doing it.
Well, there's also that idea of like, well, if I were to make an album now, kind of reflecting what we're living through right now, in 4 years, is anyone going to want to fucking go there? You know what I mean? Like, seriously?
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah,
even if
'cause, you know,
it was danceable?
yeah, even if it was an ABBA record, like,
I still wouldn't want to
or
hear
Michael
it.
Jackson, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, yeah. No, I absolutely no. I think there's something to that. You're right. I mean, it's really marking a point, and we're kind of documenting it. But as far as it being meaning, well, I don't know. I mean, meaningful, I was going to say, but like, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, I think you did make a really great record.
Oh, I'm so proud of it.
And
I
it's
really,
nice
really
to
am.
have a record that came out during this time called "You Can't Run Out of Love." It has a
you
little bit
know,
of like a
positive upbeat to it. Yeah,
upbeat to
it's funny because that's why Meg Griffin wrote it.
Your
not
friend
wrote
got
it.
scared. Tell her it's okay.
Yeah, she forgot that I was in here. It's Meg Griffin from The Loft on Sirius XM. She played it, and that's why she played it, because of the counter balance, you know. So just to kind of put this positive note out there, which is great. And I just released it in Ireland, so hopefully it'll start getting some radio play soon. So.
Can I ask you a question? As a person that moved here from somewhere else, obviously you moved here because America is a place that you wanted to be.
Yes. and really because of the music, because all my influences are from here, and I just felt in Ireland that I had gone as far as I could go, and I was stale, I was stagnant, there was nothing there for me anymore, and bar my son, my family, but so it had to be done. And I can still see myself in my house at home in Ireland being so bored and so lost and so, what can I do? I've got to do something. I can't stay here and have this life. I'll go mad. I'll die. I don't know what's going to happen, And I knew I had to do it. So it was a very long process. And 5 years later, I'm here with the new record. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And, I love America. I mean, people have been so good to me. They've embraced me. They've wanted to help me out. Just amazing. Really, really amazing.
Did you meet those guys that play on Sundays at Saxon Pub? Like Andrea McGee and Pat Byrne and that whole gang
I met
of people?
Pat Byrne.
Yeah.
I do. And I think did Pat win some Eurostar or something like that?
He
thing
won
in
the Voice
Ireland?
of Ireland.
The Voice. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And I talked to Pat, and yes, I went to see them one Sunday.
Did you get up and jam?
No, I didn't. Hopefully I can again. That'd be nice.
Seems like you fit the criteria.
Yeah. I actually recorded a record called Songs I Grew Up To, which was based on my dad's record collection. And it was kind of out of the blue. I never, ever thought I would do a cover album. And it ended up...
That's the one that came out in like 2008?
Yes. Yeah. Good man, Johnny Gowdy.
No problem.
So Paddy Maloney from the Chieftains played uilleann pipes on 2 of the songs. And one of them was The Lakes of Pontchartrain, which Pat Byrne does. So I could totally do that with him. And... so the other one was The Long Black Veil. So me and Mick Jagger recorded The Long Black Veil with the Chieftains. So there you go.
Wow.
I know.
Together?
Yeah. No.
But you recorded
Mick Jagger
it with the
did it
Chieftains?
years before me. Yeah. Yep.
They're kind of like the I don't even know what to say. The Chieftains are like the Willie Nelson of
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like they're the...
Absolutely. That's a great way of saying it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised they haven't made a reggae record with Snoop Dogg yet.
Oh my God, that would be funny. Imagine the uilleann pipes with that. So uilleann is elbow, and they're squeezing the bag with their elbow for the air. But I love the uilleann pipes. That's that drone, that physical resonance in your body from standing beside an uilleann pipe. It's just, for me, it's a very Celtic spiritual thing. And I'm not big into traditional music or anything, but, I know a good thing when I hear it. But it's, for me, that's ultimately Irish for me, the uilleann pipes, yeah. And they're really beautiful.
I met Mike Scott from the Waterboys a few
You
years
did?
ago. Mm-hmm. I went to go see him. My friend opened for them.
Oh,
and I
very
got
good.
to go hang out afterwards. And
what an amazing band. What an amazing songwriter.
Yeah. Also, I'm a huge Carl Wallinger fan. Like a World Party. Yeah.
That's right, World Party.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's an Irish band.
I think we used to do that, one of their, what song did we used to, I think I used to do one of their songs back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Geez, I can't remember.
And man.
Oh, I remember, discovering them and loving them, yeah.
Yeah. That, I don't know why all of a sudden I've got to confess to you all my favorite Irish music, but that first Sinead O'Connor album, was it The Lion and the Cobra? No.
Yes.
It was the one.
Yes. With Mandinka on it, yeah. Where she's exploded, yeah. Oh, what an album.
That makes the hair on my arm stand up just thinking about that record.
She's amazing. She's so amazing. I mean, as an artist, she's really, really amazing. I love her.
Really amazing. So you're going to do some live streams and stuff? Is that?
I had kind of stopped doing them because I just wasn't feeling it. And it's so hard to just look into a bloody screen and, and it's better when you can, when you see the people talking back to you, at least, when you can watch the comments or whatever. But yeah, I'd love to be able to do it with somebody. It'd be so great to just do it with somebody.
Because at least you can
will
have
go back
some
to it,
energy exchange.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is, Absolutely what you just said. Energy exchange, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That connection is just not there. And I really kind of lament that. But, whatever. Maybe I should just start doing it anyway, just to the sense of purpose. Give me a sense of purpose, a real sense of purpose now. You know that Pretender song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the Pretenders. So wait a minute. We got a few minutes. You gave your cassette to Bob Dylan.
Yes.
You just gave it to him?
So
like, here's my cassette, Bob Dylan. Oh,
yeah.
Sure.
Well,
he
didn't want to take it, and then so this is what happened. So my dad, I told you he played rugby for Ireland, so he used to be in Dublin a lot and knew a lot of people, and he heard that Bob Dylan was staying in the Berkeley Court, this hotel. So we went up, and there was no sign of or whatever, and they thought, okay, we'll just go to the gig. So now, and when Dad was talking to the porter at the door, because he knew him, I heard my father going, Siobhan! I was roaring my name. I was like, oh, that must be Bob. So I started running back, ran past my dad and the porter at the door, and had my cassette in my hand, and there was Bob pulling a Eskimo hood over his face, and I'm going, "Oh, hi, Bob!" And like it was, I was 23, and I was going, "Okay,
oh,
I know."
Bob.
And I said,
hi,
I know he doesn't like people coming up to him and everything, so I'll just kind of say, "Look, I'll put him at ease." Or, hello, like
that's
so.
How
I just said, "Hi, Bob. I want to give you a tape. I won't annoy you. I'll go away. I just want to give you a tape." And he's like, pulling the hood over his face. And I just was, no, really, I don't want to annoy you. I'll go away. I just want to give you the tape. And he's like, and I went, look it. And I stamped my foot and I said, look it, I sing. And he turned around and he goes, well, sing for me. So I just went, babe, I'm going to leave you. Tell you when I'm going to leave you. Leave you in our summertime. Summer comes a-rolling. Leave you when our summer comes along. And then he said, sing another verse. So I sang another verse, and then he goes, let's walk this way. So we were walking up and down this Lansdowne Road in Dublin, and he wouldn't take the tape. And then he was asking me questions about my house and my family.
I don't want your tape.
No, yeah. And so then he brought me to the gig. Look, this is a very long story, and Jason and Penny Joe know the whole thing, and we don't have time for it here. But anyway, he brought me to the gig and asked me to sing The Fox Went Out on a Chilly Night with him. And I said, no, I don't know the verses. And he goes, he says, hey, maybe you will, maybe you won't, and that's okay too. So he rang me 3 weeks later because I'd given him the tape, left the tape for him. And I wasn't there, and my sister was like 12 at the time, and she took a message, and he said, tell her it's Bob about the tape. So anyway, there's a long story. So anyway, that's kind of the synopsis of it.
I think if I ever met him, then he growled at me, I would just sing and see if he liked me then.
Well, then
I wonder if it works on 51-year-old dudes as well as it works with 23-year-old ladies.
I don't know. I think it was just so kind of, I just was never, I was different. You know what I mean? I never, like I used to say, people would say, how could you go up to him? Why would you go up to him? I couldn't do that. I'm going, well, why? I don't understand why you wouldn't do that. Like, I mean, I just love his music, and
right.
There he is. So why would I not do that? And I think just my whole, it just disarmed him somehow. And I don't know. It's just, he liked it and went along with it. And he was lovely to me. He brought me to dinner, and he asked me to sing for the people around the table, which was Bono and Edge and Christy Hind and Elvis Costello. And I sang a Harry Chapin song, and Bono went, wow. And I knew I didn't believe him, but I still use his quote.
That's a good one. I once stood in front of him for a while some guy harassed him about coming over swimming at his house. It was real weird.
Oh my God.
And then the time was up and we made eye contact a couple of times. And Bono, he looked at me and I looked at him, and it was a scene. There was like this, like, yeah. Like he looked at me like, man, can you believe this guy's just sitting here going like, hey, man, next time you guys are in town, you're welcome to come over to our house. You can bring whoever you want. I wouldn't want you to bring a lot of people, but like,
oh God,
for like
What the
15
hell?
minutes, this dude was like explaining how he wanted you two to come over, but he didn't want them to bring too many people, but they were
my
welcome to bring
God.
whoever they wanted.
Seriously, like,
Yeah, it was weird.
I see. This is what I'm saying. You see, that is why if I had said something like that to Dylan, I mean, hello, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
So I mean,
I
it
couldn't
was
bel-
it was pure. It was pure, and then that's just ridiculous. So
So, I guess people can just find you at SiobhanO'Brien.com. Do you say it's Siobhan? Is that
yes,
okay.
absolutely, you're
Okay.
perfect saying that. Siobhan, the BH is a V sound, but yeah, it's SiobhanO'Brien.com. Of course, the spelling is SIOBHAN.
Yeah.
OBRIEN.
People can
So-
find a link in the text of the body of this podcast.
Yeah,
They can just
yeah,
click
yeah.
it.
Thanks so much, Johnny. God, it was
thank
great
you.
to talk to you.
It was great talking to you,
and,
too. You-
I'm so great. I'm so delighted that I have Jason and Penny Joe as my good buddies.
Advocates. Yeah.
Advocates.
Yeah.
Oh, she's amazing. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll meet next time you're down.
Sure, I'd love it. Yeah.
And,
An actual
did you
drink.
stay in the trailer? when you were
Yes,
there?
I did.
Yeah,
the
me
magic
too.
trailer. Yeah, I made the King's Fool video there.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's in the trailer. Yeah,
Nice.
and Penny Joe's in it.
I did not see this video.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's there.
Where?
It was made by. Oh my God, what was his name? It's terrible. Oh my God, I hope he doesn't hear this podcast. I know his name.
Oh, he's going to
His
hate
wife
you.
is Lily. No, Viola is their kid. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. I know his name. Oh my God, that's terrible.
What?
Anyway, I know his name. I can't
Okay.
remember it right now.
That's
I'm
all
so
right, man.
sorry.
I'm sure they'll forgive you. They can find you at
Oh my God, that's terrible. I'm totally
Siobhan
blank on
O'Brien.
that right now.
.com.
But
And
yeah.
this record, You Can't Run Out of
Run
Love,
Out of Love,
is
yeah.
beautiful. Produced by
Thank
my
you.
friends John Bush and Matt Hubbard.
Yeah. Amazing guys.
Amazing guys and amazing musicians too.
Yeah.
Well, you're a
Fabulous.
great songwriter, man. I look forward to meeting you
Aw.
someday, and good luck under
You
the
too,
quarantine.
Johnny. Thank you so much.
Stay
Really
sane.
appreciate it. Stay sane.
Yeah.
That's it. Hashtag stay sane.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Johnny.
Talk to you
Take
soon.
care. Good luck. Bye.
Please take away this longing, let me crawl back.
Siobhan O'Brien, her latest album, You Can't Run Out of Love. Available now wherever it is you stream and download your jams. You can find her at SiobhanO'Brien.com. I will put a link to that. There's a link to that in the text of this podcast. Get down there and check it out. It was produced by my friends John Bush and Matt Hubbard, dudes from here in Austin, who did a fantastic job making this record. And they're such nice guys. And I never even knew they were working on this record. It was my friend Jason Swedberg who hooked this whole thing up. So thank you. Big thanks to Jason Swedberg. That's right, from J. Scott Lutherie. Get your guitars fixed, dudes. You got to do it. Find Siobhan O'Brien at SiobhanO'Brien.com. You Can't Run Out of Love is the name of the record. Latest record. Get out there and check it out. She lives in Virginia, so you can't be seeing her soon. I guess she's going to be doing some live stream stuff. A lot of people are doing live stream stuff now that we're all quarantined at home. Go do it, all right? And hey, when you're checking out SiobhanO'Brien.com, you can subscribe to this podcast wherever it is you find podcasts, guys. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Overcast, anywhere you find podcasts, Google Podcasts. If you use the Podbean app, we're on there. Gang, you want to share this or like it, it really means a lot to us because engagement is our currency. Our audience engaging with us shows our advertisers that you are interested in our show. I know you listen to it, but engagement really counts. So follow our Facebook page. Follow us on Facebook. How did I get here? Like stuff. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I am at Johnny Gowdy. Get on there. Check it out. Get involved. Here's the rest of the song, The King's Fool, from You Can't Run Out of Love by the talented Siobhan O'Brien. Have a great day, whatever it is you're doing. Let's get down.
Trends